Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Adam.
And I'm Felix.
And we are diving back into the book club. If you've been keeping up to date, you know that we stopped with Showmanship for Magicians. And speaking bluntly, it's outdated. It wasn't giving us the actionable steps we were looking for to get Felix from never performing to standing on a stage and doing it properly. So we've transitioned into a much more relevant and actionable book, Maximum Entertainment 2.0 by the legend himself, Ken Weber. Ken Weber is a mentalist that looks at, thinks about, and performs in a way that very few do. And this book is a perfect example of that. So if you haven't been following along, Felix is learning his stage show. We are building a show for him from ground zero to the end, where he'll be performing a 35-minute show on stage in front of an actual audience. This is part of that journey. Now, I could give him all the advice I have in the world, but that's only one small subcategory of one performer. Really, by doing the book clubs, our goal is that we can help you become a better entertainer, but also help ourselves become a better entertainer, both me as well as Felix on the journey. One cool thing about Felix starting this way is that he's not learning any bad habits. A lot of times when people hire on somebody, they say, I want to hire somebody at this corporation that's completely green and fresh, no training whatsoever, because then I don't have to unlearn things they've already learned. So Felix has that going for him. Well, I, on the other hand, have the opposite. There's a lot of things in here that I've got to relearn, unlearn, and realize I'm doing incorrectly. So I'm excited to better my performing and entertaining skills and watch Felix on his journey. So we've got Maximum Entertainment 2.0. Felix, so far, how is the journey going for you? How are you enjoying it?
First of all, it feels great to be back. This break from the book club, even if you said the books were outdated or a bit of a tough read, it was fun to do so. And this pause, it was a while, right? The last book club is a couple of weeks ago. So I'm
almost a month now, I think.
Yeah, and that sucked. But being back feels awesome. Then Maximum Entertainment, I read through the first chapter, and in comparison to the book before, without throwing dirt or something like this, it feels like a complete fresh breath of air. Like the way it is written, the way you dive through the pages, and the quality of information provided on this very short span is just incredible. So this is going to be a lot of fun.
Totally agree. I think we probably should have started with that, but hey, life's about learning and adjusting, and that's what we've done. So we're going to dive right in. We are at Maximum Entertainment 2.0, again by Ken Weber. If you look, always before you start, we suggest reading the foreword, getting a bit about what the book is, acknowledgments, things of that nature, looking over the table of contents. We'll let you do that on your own time. What we're going to do now, again, this is 2.0. The original is Maximum Entertainment. We do suggest that you get 2.0. There's going to be the things that we're talking about in here. It's an updated version of it. And definitely, if you've already got the first, invest in the second. But we're going to dive right into the actual first section, where he starts off with preamble, the introduction, and then moving into sort of who he is, what he is. And we're just going to sort of go at chapter heads, talk really briefly about the content in there, and hopefully it inspires you to pick it up and start reading yourself. So with that said, I think we can let you read the introduction on your own. It's a really exciting introduction because he lays it right out there. If you're looking to be the best you can be, having a bunch of yes men or yes women in your life telling you you're great is not the way to get there. The way to get there is to listen to harsh realities and sometimes brutal truths. And a lot of the introduction is sort of talking about that. If you move past the introduction, he talks, Felix, you had mentioned...
I really want to jump in at this point. The thing with feedback, right? Yes, it can be brutal, but it's only the way you look at your journey. If you expect to start at a very high level, you're probably going to be disappointed. We had it in previous book clubs and discussions on our channel, that you need to have this place to be bad first. And that's this is something I realized building Woolpine together with you. It's a blessing that nobody gives a damn about you in the very first place, because you have time to increase your quality. And when quality goes to a point where it's acceptable or even so great that it's getting noticed, then attention will come, and you have a lot of time to get there. Ken Weber dives into this statement a little bit later in this first chapter. He says, competition is not real. You're only playing against your own potential.
I couldn't agree.
And
there's more than enough work for everybody.
Thing, yeah.
Yep. The idea that there's a magician in my area who's better than me, or I'm better than him, but they book more shows than me, that's you in your own head. There's so much work to go around. And the more people I talk to who've been in the game for a long time, just had a long conversation with Bill Hers, who is a massive corporate entertainer. And he said it in first part of the phone call, which there's plenty of work to go around. The problem is subpar magicians make it harder to get that work. Because if you see a magician perform, now if they're a terrible magician, that's not the worst. The worst isn't a terrible magician, because people will go, that's a terrible magician. The worst, he said, is a mediocre magician, because people then assume that's what magicians are. They're good enough to fly and not glaringly stare you in the face and go, this person is horrible, but they're not great. So mediocre is not acceptable, at least in bettering magic as a whole. And that really resonated with me. You know, I would say, I can speak openly, I'm a mediocre magician. Maybe a little better than mediocre, but I have significant room to improve. And if my goal really is to better magic as a whole, I need to be a great magician. And I'm extremely excited to revisit the 2.0 version of this book, because when I first read it, the 1.0, I took more information from this book than any other book on performing. And right in the first chapter, he says here, teen magazine advice. What's it really about? Entertainment, 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 right? You're not a magician. Who cares if you're a magician? You're not being hired as a magician. You're being hired as an entertainer. So what, Felix, what is entertainment? In a nutshell, if you had to say in a sentence, what's entertainment?
I'm going to paraphrase, because I really loved his explanation of entertainment. And it's focus. It's the capability. Something is entertaining when it draws your attention. And as we all know, attention is the most precious gift you can give to someone and you can receive from someone. If somebody decides to spend time with you in a moment and be in this moment, not being distracted by cell phones or whatever else, or being with their thoughts in the future or in the past, just have this moment together. This is the most precious gift you can have.
Yep, I think that sums it up. Entertainment is about focus and making them forget everything else in the world except what's supposed to be focused on at that moment. Movies, music, all of these things that are entertaining take you away from the present and put you in whatever that director or performer's vision is, right? So if I'm watching Harry Potter, I'm in Harry Potter. I'm in this wonderland. And it's very easy to forget that. So I think, you know, this first part of this first chapter where he talks about teen magazine advice is that do not underestimate the importance of the fact that we are entertainers first and foremost. Know what entertainment is, and now we know what our goal is. Be entertained stage. So now we've got a target to shoot for, if you will. I
mean, Daryl Fitzke put it in other words, right? He was talking about the same things, but I think it's much more easier to grasp in this book. He was like, the moment your effects or what you do transcends the methods and becomes just the effect itself. What's it called? Sorry, the suspension of disbelief.
Yep.
What's the phrase? The
suspension of disbelief. Yeah, you're suspending what you know to be not true to go along. Like when I watch a movie, I know there's not really little elves walking around, but I suspend that impossibility to. And I wouldn't do it if it wasn't a well-written script and beautiful cinematography and the edits were right. All of it has to fall in place. And again, we'll go deep into it, but lighting, character, costume, sound, all of this stuff is what takes away every obstacle for the audience to not suspend their disbelief, right? There's nothing glaring where it's like even a wobbly table, which we talked about before. If I'm supposed to be watching a guy do an amazing piece of impossibility, but his table's wobbling and it's throwing me off, I'm now in the moment going, damn, the table's pissing me off. So I think it's our job to eliminate every barrier to that suspension of disbelief. And that's what we're going to sort of focus on throughout this book, is what steps can we take to make it as easy as possible for that audience to come along for the ride that we're piloting?
All right, let's jump to the next section. The question is, who is Ken Webber? And to be honest, all I know about Ken Webber is that he wrote a book which is called Maximum Entertainment, and he did it twice. So
of course, anytime you take information from somebody or advice, who is it, right? Why would I take advice from Felix on brain surgery? I know he's not a brain surgeon. So who is Ken? And in this section, he's talking about sort of why you should listen to him. Now, one reason I listen to him is because a lot of my peers and a lot of my mentors all said, Ken is amazing, go get this book. So that was trusted advice from friends. But in this section, who is Ken? He goes all through his history in performing and why maybe he's got a different eye than a friend magician. And I think it's definitely worth the reading to find out who he is. His catalog of work is deep and heavy. And this is really what that section's about, talking about what he's done and why you should take what he has to say to heart as opposed to it just being another book on performance. It's a long section, but again, it's helping to paint the picture of who he is and his experience in magic and mentalism and entertainment. Well worth the read. But again, from me, it was from really trusted people all saying, dude, this book just came out. Awesome. You have to read it. And I read the Maximum Entertainment first edition. I've probably gone through that 3 times. It's downstairs right now, but I'll show you on the next book club. It's got notes in every column, highlights all over the place. That's how I know a book is poignant to me, if I'm actually rereading it and taking notes. And this thing I've gone through so many times. I'm glad 2.0 came out because I had no more room in the margins. So, who is Ken Webber? Simply put, he's an absolute beast that looks at performance in a way that most people I know don't. And I think most people who really want to make magic, mentalism, and entertainment better should be looking at it. So,
the exciting part is that he is actually critiquing professional performers in his book, right?
That goes right
on one hand
into the next section. So yeah, keep running with that. But the next section where he says, "Excuse me, your slip is showing." That's exactly what he talks about. So keep rolling with that.
Yeah, it was a segue for you.
Well, fair enough. I'll take it from there. Essentially, what he's saying is that, look, I'm naming names, right? I'm not going to say there's a person I know. He's saying, excuse me, your slip is showing. I think what he's referring to is this idea of like, I'm going to call you out. And it isn't to be mean, right? I'm not calling you out to say Adam-Wilber is a shit performer, right? And I'm not in the book, so thank God. But he's putting names, and he even says in there that these probably are names that you have heard of and look up to. But to understand that even the people we may look up to have room for improvement makes it a lot easier to swallow the fact that we have room for improvement, right? I think it's a bold thing that he's doing, but I think it's an essential thing that he's doing to say, go check out John Doe's performance on YouTube, and here's what I'm saying could be improved. So this section, pardon me, your slip is showing, is him just sort of saying, I'm calling a spade a spade. Now, there are performers that I can't put in this book because they're so friggin' good, I wish I was as good as them as well. But there are performers that you may think are household names or the higher levels that I am gonna name by name. And I really respect him for doing that. I think all the people in the book understand that it's not about taking the piss. It's not about anything except helping people understand how to be a better entertainer, right? The mission of the book is to help people get the maximum entertainment out of what they do. And I think the fact that he's calling people out is really a bold but essential part of this text.
So basically, if we can get rid of the pressure we put on our own shoulders, then true development can happen. Adam, you are a keynote speaker in the field of innovation, right? In the same topic I'm dealing with, right, as a consultant. And in this case, I was talking to one of the mentors of Steve Jobs for his keynotes and product presentations. And we all know Steve Jobs basically as the creative genius who's entering the stage and basically pitching a product in a way which is completely new and yada yada yada. Everything is flawless and it just looks cool. He basically told me that he's spending a day of practice for every minute in his keynote.
Wow.
After the whole presentation has been refined and ready. And from within 1 hour keynote, it's 60 days of practicing this one keynote until the final presentation when he enters the stage.
Wow.
But think of all what goes into it, right? So you have the whole development process. You refine, you switch out slides, you switch information and statement. And then after, I don't know how long the preparation of something at Apple is done, then the period of 60 to 90 days starts to practice it.
Imagine a magician taking, and I'm sure positive there are entertainers that take probably more than that, right? Because we have all of that. When now Apple has the cool, right? Here's the products, let that speak. We have the tricks, the magic, but the idea that every minute is thought out. That means every movement, every facial expression, every single turn of the body, every gesture to the audience, every single letter, every word spoken. I mean, obviously he did something right. They seem to be doing all right. That whole Apple.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard. I heard, yeah.
Well, moving down here, we go into please take note. And I think this is a really important part of the section. I'll read the opening line, and he says straight from here, you should make notes about my notes. This book is not sacrosanct. This book is not sacrosanct. It's an opinionated and sometimes borderline rude how-to manual. Mess it up. Talk back to me. Never pick up this volume without a pen, pencil, or highlighter in your hand. I mean, it's his book. That's his rule of the book. I think you should follow his rule. It is so much more beneficial to write notes. I didn't have to go. Anyone watching this probably knows the science behind writing something down, highlighting it, as opposed to just reading it allows you to absorb it a million times better. I think his real goal is to help people become the best entertainer possible. He's a phenomenal teacher, and in turn, because he knows how to teach so well, he understands the importance of writing notes, highlighting, and not just taking what he says as fact. He says, talk back to me, right? You don't agree with something? Why not? Let's dig into it. I love that approach. And the last section in this sort of preface of the book, it's not chapter 1 yet, but the last section of it, he says, the science of entertainment? Never. There's a really beautiful line in here where he says, entertainment is a personal experience. The delight of the moment takes place exclusively between the ears of each participant, not on the stage, but in the brain. I think what he's trying to say is the entertainment isn't us on stage. The entertainment is what we can do with that in between the ears of our spectators. And each one of those is going to be different, right? So it's an interesting thing to think about, that we're not, our stage and what we're doing is not the entertainment, right? It's like the magic. You can say that there's no magic unless there's the mind of the spectator. Otherwise, what is it? It's us doing something. It's a craft. But the moment that craft resonates in a person's mind, in their unique personality and situation, that's where the magic lives. And I think it's the same with entertainment, right? The entertainment is happening in the mind of the spectator. And you always have to remember, every single spectator in your audience is different. They'll receive it differently. So I think what we're setting ourselves up for is the tool sets to be able to present the best possible entertainment, so it's as easy for them to allow that to happen in their brain. But I really like the point that, you know, entertainment is what happens between the ears of the spectator, and every single one of them is different. So chapter 1, we're going to dive deep into defining entertainment and really looking what it means to be good at entertainment. I think this is just a whetting of our appetite to get us inspired to realize that there's so much more. It's such a deep and complex topic. And this guy, I mean, honestly, I don't know of a better book I've said it before, and this was even years ago, that I think this is the best book you can read to become a better entertainer, especially in today's world. So I'm already excited because I've read it. I hope you guys are excited as well. Please do pick yourself up a copy of this. And Felix, do you have any final thoughts on this sort of preface of what we're about to really dive deep into?
The thing is, I also read chapter 1 already, right? So I'm one chapter ahead.
Unbelievable. Skipping ahead, trying to show off. Unreal.
Well, you're kidding me, dude. Well, actually, I took the liberty to already read chapter 1, right? I came prepared.
Yeah.
No, what I'm trying to say is the introduction is a very grounded approach, right? He's laying the groundwork, and since I read already chapter 1, it is picking up speed fast, and I can't wait to take what we already practiced together, where you mentored me, and basically challenge it with what's in the book, right? And just develop it together with you and the information in this book further. And I can't wait to start that, because in all honesty, this book is a good read. It's a quality information. It's a real page turner, and you don't want to put it down.
That's the other nice thing, is most informational texts are not fun to read. Ken is a great author. It's like you said, it's a page turner. So grab yourself a copy. If you can get it from Ken directly, support the artist directly, do so. But just about every magic shop on the planet will sell it as well. So grab yourself a copy and read through the preface. We've sort of outlined briefly what it's touched on, but by no means did we dive deep into what's really there. So get that next week. So these are going to launch on every Wednesday. So every Wednesday we'll go into a new chapter. Some of the chapters are so heavy that we'll split them up, but we'll get to that when we get there. And we're trying to keep these to about 30 minutes. Your feedback, comments, and questions help us a lot. They help us first know that people are taking something from this, but secondly, also let us know what maybe we have missed or we weren't clear enough on that we could follow up on. So if there are any comments or questions on this video, next Wednesday, first we'll address those, and then we'll move into chapter 1, which is a really exciting one because it talks about entertainment. What is it, right? If we're going to be magicians, mentalists, performers, then we're entertainers. What does that even mean, right? It doesn't just mean making people laugh with your jokes and your magic on stage. And the next chapter is probably the best in-depth look at least from a magician or mentalist point of view, that I've ever seen. So be excited, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks so much for being here. If you want to support what we're doing, head over to vulpinecreations.com, check out our portfolio of magic, or better yet, sign up for the newsletter. You'll never miss anything. We never send you any spam. We really only send you either free magic tricks or when we have a new product to release. So thanks again. Thanks for being here.
Until next time.
Onward, friends.